Namaskaram. Welcome to today's video on ancient Indian knowledge systems. Look at this picture on your screen. These are Ramu and Somu, who are very close friends. Talking about them, these close friends had recently completed postgraduate studies, Ramu in science and Somu in commerce. Both were ambitious and eager to start their careers. It was Somu who first secured a job, landing a lucrative position at a multinational company because of his commerce background. But after drawing his salary, when Somu was asked as to what he is going to do with the salary that is earned, he started talking about all his plans of materialistic pleasures fulfilled. He listed buying a high end smartphone, traveling around the country, purchasing a house, purchasing a car, investing in gold, and the long list goes on. In fact, he struggled to provide answers beyond his materialistic goals. Later, Ramu too got a job. And when he was asked as to how he is going to spend his salary earned, he expressed his intention to donate 10% of his earnings to a charitable trust. He also spoke of aspirations like contributing to environmental conservation, planting trees, and supporting preservation of rivers, and many more ideas of environmental consciousness. Don't you think that Ramu's answers revealed a deeper sense of values and ethics, demonstrating a commitment to make a positive impact on society? What is the difference in the answers that they have provided? Maybe it is Somu who has stopped with the materialistic goals, and it is Ramu that has gone beyond the materialistic goals into the environmental consciousness and looking at the bigger picture of the world. There is a requirement today in the education system to help the students provide a bigger picture. And introduction of IKS, Indian Knowledge Systems, helps us to do this. Did we even know that Acharya Sushruta was the first plastic surgeon and cataract surgeon from ancient India? Physician Charaka authored a foundational text called Charaka Samhita on the ancient science of Ayurveda. Mathematician Aryabhatta was the first person to create the symbol for zero to the entire world. Did we even know that the binary number system was first described by the Vedic scholar Pingala? Rishi Kanada devised the atomic theory centuries before John Dalton was born and the ancient scholar of aeronautics. Maharishi Bharadwaja has listed different types of aircrafts that are used in different periods in ancient India, way long before the Wright brothers came out with their model. Did we even know, being Indians, that these Indians have contributed a lot to the scientific advancement of the entire world? That is the reason why Albert Einstein says we owe a lot to the ancient Indian teachings because it is they taught us how to count, without which most modern scientific discoveries would have been impossible. And so, the vast and diverse body of traditional knowledge developed and preserved in India over millennia. What are the branches that are there in the Indian knowledge systems? It is philosophy and spirituality, Ayurveda and medicine, mathematics and astronomy, physics and cosmology, chemistry and metallurgy, arts and aesthetics, agriculture and environmental practices, linguistics and literature, social and political systems. Don't you think the entire corpus of knowledge is incorporated in Indian knowledge systems way back in the ancient times? All these systems, in fact, reflect the rich cultural and intellectual heritage of India. If we look at the philosophy and spirituality, there were four Vedas: the Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharva Veda. We also had the 18 Upanishads that were given by Adi Shankaracharya: Isha, Kena, Katha, Prashna, Aitareya, Taitareya, Mundaka Mandukya, Chandogya, and Brihadaranyaka, along with Shvetasvatara. These are the beautiful Upanishads that talk about the Indian philosophy and spirituality to the core. Along with the Upanishads and Vedas, we also have the Vedangas. that are being included in philosophy and spirituality. There are 6 Vedangas to understand the Vedas and Upanishads in a proper way, beginning with Shiksha, which is phonetics, grammar, that is Vyakarana, Nirukta, that is etymology, going into the root of the word and understanding the meaning of the word. Chandas is the metrics and the metrical composition of the Vedas and Upanishads. Kalpa talk about the rituals, and Jyotisha talk about the astrological moments and time to perform various yajnas and yagas that are associated with Kalpa and also the Vedas. The 4 Vedas, the 18 Upanishads, and the 6 Vedangas incorporate the knowledge of philosophy and ancient Indian spirituality. Then we have the schools of philosophy and spirituality: Vaisheshika and Nyaya, Yoga and Sankhya, Vedanta and Mimamsa. These are the 6 philosophical schools of ancient India, which are properly called as Shad Darshanas. They are called as Darshana Shastras because they show us the eternal truths of the entire life and cosmos. These philosophical schools of Vaisheshika, Nyaya, Yoga, Sankhya, Vedanta, and Mimamsa incorporate the schools of philosophy and spirituality in the Indian knowledge systems. Second is the Ayurveda and medicine. During the Samudra Manthana, the Manthara Parvata was taken up, and the Vasuki serpent was around the Manthara Parvata that is being churned. And Vishnu, it seems, have taken the incarnation of Kurma, the tortoise, supporting the Manthara Parvata deep beneath the ocean. During the Samudra Manthana, there were a number of jewels that have come out. Lakshmi, Jeshta, Apsarasas were taken up by the gods. Varuni, the vine, was taken up by the demons. Kamadhenu, the cow. Airavata, the elephant. Uchchaishwaryas, the horse, was taken up by Indra. Kalpavriksha was taken up again by the gods. Kaustubha was taken up by Vishnu. Chandra was taken up by Lord Shiva. Panchajanya, the Shankha, was taken up by Krishna or Vishnu. Earrings, it seems, Indra had given it to his mother, Aditi. Nidra Devi is taken up by the Daityas. Halahala, the poison, was consumed by Lord Shiva. And ultimately, Dhanvantari had come up. The central figure that you could see in the middle of the slide is Dhanvantari with a pot of Amrit in his hands. It is Ayurvedam that believes that Dhanvantari is the god of Ayurveda and the ancient Indian medicine. Sushruta is the father of plastic surgery, along with Charaka in Charaka Samhita and Vagabhatta, who has given us various rules as to what is to be eaten, what is not to be eaten, when to eat, when to sleep, and take care of our health, are the ancient Indian seers of medicine and Ayurveda. Talking about mathematics and astronomy, it is Aryabhatta who has given 0 to the entire world. Varahamihira, the Indian sage who has predicted the discovery of Mars and various other planets 1500 years ago. Bhaskaracharya 1 and Bhaskaracharya 2 have contributed a lot to the field of mathematics and astronomy. It is Brahmagupta who has composed a number of laws that are related to mathematics. Are we even know about all these people? Don't you think that we feel proud the moment we talk about these mathematicians and astrologers who have contributed a lot to astrology and astronomy of the world? The fourth branch that we should be proud of related to Indian knowledge systems is physics and cosmology. Way back in the BC, before Common Era, they have found out that the earth is round and named the study of earth as Bhugol. Gol is round. When the Western philosophers till the 16th century, during the Common Era, started thinking it as a flat, where the sun moves around the earth. It is way back that the Indian seers have predicted that Bhu is Gol and is moving around itself and moving around the sun as well, along with the other planets like Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and so on. Talking about the ancient Indian knowledge system in chemistry and metallurgy, Indian seers and saints were far ahead. And it is the importance of iron and steel that they have found out. The iron pillar that you could see on the left side, in fact, did not even get rusted, in spite of the fact that it has been standing since ages. They have given importance to gold, silver, and platinum as the noble metals. They also had found out the importance of copper, iron, and brass, and also have come out with a number of alloys like bronze and various other metallurgy. Arts and aesthetics is another branch that the ancient Indian knowledge systems have flourished in. Towards your left, you could find Bharata Muni, who has come out with a beautiful text of Natya Shastra, where he has emphasized the Ashtarasas. In fact, later the Navarasa of Shanta also had been incorporated into it. Shringara, Hasya, Karuna, Raudra, Veera, Bhayanaka, Bhibhatsa, and Adbhuta were given with great precision, details, and nuances by Bharatamani. Later, Shantarasa also was added. Apart from this, we also have the rasas of Vatsalya and Bhakti being added into this Natya Shastra. In agriculture and environmental conservation, ancient Indian knowledge systems were ahead. In fact, the entire daily chores, festivals, and celebrations were all rotating around agriculture, and agriculture without causing harm to the environment. They have taken utmost care as to how the rivers could be taken care of, forests could be conserved, wild animals could be conserved, and at the same time domesticated a number of animals who could be used in agriculture. Sustainable farming practices and crop rotation methods have been used in the ancient Indian culture. There was a respect for nature, and living in harmony with the environment was of prime importance in the indigenous practices, and various rituals followed here. The animal wealth like cows, buffaloes, goats, sheep, horse, elephants were given maximum importance in the ancient Indian knowledge systems. Talking about linguistics and literature, we should all feel proud about Panini, who has written a beautiful text called Ashtadhyayi. In 8 chapters, he has given everything about language and linguistic studies, which becomes the basic structure for even the Western studies of language. Towards your right, you could find Saint Patanjali, who is supposed to be the incarnation of Adisesha, who has given a beautiful bhashyam for the Panini's Vyakarana Sutras. Yaskacharya's Nirukta becomes important for word etymology of Sanskrit. And towards the classical ages, you could find Mahakavi Kalidasa, who in fact is one of the greatest poets of the entire world. In arts and literature, we have the epics like Mahabharata, Ramayana, and classical poetry of drama, such as Kalidasa's works, are highly famous and reverent. Rich traditions in the classical music like Carnatic music and Hindustani music, along with the dance forms like Kuchipudi, Bharatanatyam, Kathakali, Manipuri, are highly famous on the Indian subcontinent. It was also one of the best in visual arts, ancient art forms including painting, sculpture, and architecture, exemplified by the Ajanta and Ellora caves in the modern age, and the intricate temple designs in South India cannot be forgotten as a contribution of the ancient Indian knowledge systems. When we talk about social and political systems in ancient India, one smriti that comes to our mind is the Manusmriti, that has given various rules as to how a civilized culture should be, civilization should be, and society should be. When we talk about the political systems, Kautilya's Arthashastra not only dominates the political system and administrative system of ancient India, but also the economics and commerce of ancient India. An ancient Indian treatise on statecraft, economy, economic policy, and military strategy is attributed to Kautilya or Chanakya through his Arthashastra. Concepts of duty, righteousness, and moral principles, as outlined in the text of Manusmriti and the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi, cannot be outcome. Accordingly, Indian knowledge systems can be defined variously. It could have academic definition, philosophical definition, cultural definition, educational definition, and historical definitions. These definitions highlight the multifaceted nature of IKS, showing its relevance across various domains of knowledge and its enduring significance in the contemporary world. Indian knowledge systems, as per academic definitions, refer to the collective body of knowledge that is developed and preserved in India over thousands of years, encompassing disciplines like philosophy, mathematics, astronomy, medicine, literature, arts, and social sciences. It includes traditional wisdom, scientific advancements, and cultural practices rooted in ancient Indian texts and practices, reflecting the holistic understanding of the entire world and human life. The philosophical definition of ancient Indian knowledge systems is quite famous for its philosophical and spiritual frameworks that guide the understanding of existence, consciousness, and the entire cosmos through the Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and maybe the Anandamaya Kosha. It also talks about the deep consciousness that is present beneath Annamaya Kosha to Anandamaya Kosha as the Akshara Bija, as Om. These systems are rooted in ancient texts like the Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas, offering insights into the nature of reality, ethics, and the interconnectedness of all life forms on this planet. Talking about the cultural definition, the Indian knowledge systems represent the rich cultural heritage of India, encompassing traditional practices, arts, rituals, and ways of living. They reflect the collective wisdom of Indian civilization, emphasizing harmony between human and nature and fostering deep respect for diversity and sustainability. Indian knowledge systems are an interdisciplinary approach to learning, as per the educational definitions, because it integrates ancient Indian wisdom with modern education. It includes subjects like Ayurveda, yoga, Vedic mathematics, classical arts, and sustainable agriculture, aiming to provide a well rounded, culturally rooted education that promotes holistic development to the individuals. Indian knowledge systems are the holistic historical body of knowledge developed in the Indian subcontinent, which includes contributions in science, technology, medicine, and philosophy. These systems have been transmitted through generations, often orally or through classical texts, that have influenced global thought and innovation. That is the reason why Max Muller of the 19th and 20th centuries, who is a wonderful German philologist and orientologist, says that Rig Veda is the sacred book of the East, which has contributed to not only him but to the entire Western thought. Muller appreciated the philosophical depth of the Vedas and Upanishads and saw Indian philosophy as a crucial part of the world's intellectual heritage. Arthur Schopenhauer of the 19th century, who is a German philosopher, says that he was deeply influenced by the production of the highest human wisdom, which is Upanishads. He integrated the aspect of Indian philosophy into his own framework, especially the concepts of asceticism and the denial of the will. He says that Upanishads are the profound source of wisdom, stating that they had a major influence on his thinking and that reading them brought him a great solace. Henry David Thoreau of the 19th century American transcendentalist and philosopher was a wonderful American poet who says that he was greatly influenced by the Indian scriptures such as the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads. He praises Bhagavad Gita that in the morning I bathe my intellect in the stupendous and cosmogonal philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita that is responsible for making him a deep learned scholar in America. Ananda Kumaraswamy of the 20th century is a Sri Lankan descendant who was educated in England and is the intellectual of both East and West. He is a pioneering art historian and philosopher who was instrumental in introducing Indian art and aesthetics to the Western world. He has great respect for the Indian art and spiritual practices which have influenced not only him but the entire Western thought. Albert Einstein of the 20th century, the literary giant of science and various other branches of knowledge, says that we owe a lot to the Indians who taught us to count, without which no worthwhile scientific discovery could have been made. Will Durant, the 20th century wonderful historian and philosopher who has penned the story of civilization, emphasized the advanced nature of Indian philosophy and science. He says that India was the motherland of our race and Sanskrit the mother of European languages. J. Robert Oppenheimer, who is the father of atom bomb, describes Indian philosophy, particularly the Bhagavad Gita, which he quoted after the first successful atomic test. After performing the atomic test, he says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds," which is a wonderful expression from the Indian text Bhagavad Gita. Joseph Campbell, an American mythologist and writer, extensively studied Indian myths and their symbolic meanings. He incorporated Indian philosophy, particularly the concept of hero's journey, into his work in the comparative mythology. He praises Indian mythology as unparalleled in the world traditions. And that is the reason why it is not heaven and hell and earth, the three-layered concept, but we have 7 lokas on top, beginning with Bhurloka, Bhuvarloka, Swarloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, and Satyaloka. 7 lokas within us, beginning on top with Sahasrara, Vishuddhi, Anahata, Manipura, Swadhisthana, and Mooladhara, and going deep down into the 7 lokas beneath us as Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Rasatala, Mahatala, and Patala. Aren't we reminded of Dante's Divine Comedy of 7 lokas on top and 7 lokas beneath? Maybe the root of all these understandings, the underpinnings of all these understandings of different lokas existing, and with the help of the karma that we do, we either go into the higher lokas or lead a life in the human lokas, or maybe go down into the demon lokas, is the concept that is given by the ancient Indian knowledge systems, for which we should be thankful. Thank you very much for being a part of this video. See you in the next video. Bye. Till then.